How we doing, ladies and gentlemen? My name is Wolf, and welcome back to Wolfian Reborn. Today, we're going to be looking at something that one of you guys actually asked me for over on the main channel. There was a comment on a very old video asking about Longbow Untamed. This is my personal favorite open world build throughout the entire game. I'd honestly am probably going to 100% the rest of the map with this character, with this setup, because it's just my absolute personal favorite. So, basically, it employs a little bit of cheese and a little bit of shenanigans. You'll have to excuse the fact I don't have all my gear on, since I swapped it all to my other character that I am going to be maining for the expansion, and I'll cover her stuff a little bit later. But this is the build, if you just want to copy and paste it. Marksmanship, skirmishing, and untamed, and we take advantage of all of the weapon swap traits and sigils, so that when you're unleashed, when you switch weapons, you'll gain access to multi-shot, which is that attack right there, which will fire a bunch of arrows at your target and everything around it, and then it will also reduce the cooldown of other longbow skills. This ability is fucking broken, and I'm going to show you why. Because it makes it so you can basically have back-to-back-to-back rapid fires over and over and over again. Because if you take that and you combine it with, for example, the Superior Sigil of Frenzy, you get my favorite build to ever exist. Both bows have Frenzy, one has Bloodlust, and then one has Rage. You'll be stacking the Bloodlust inherently because you'll be switching weapons all the time, as it's just part of the core setup. I have tried playing with the Relic of the weapon swap and what have you. Kinda worked, but not particularly needed. I'm just going for the Thief Relic, but if it mattered to you, you could switch it. The reason I didn't run it was because the timing on the Untamed Unleash ability, which is the multi-shot that we're going for, you only get to Unleash swap every 10 seconds, or every 9 seconds, I think it is. So it's literally timed at just the right time for an automatic weapon swap set. It times itself out perfectly, whereas if you use the weapon swap relic, you actually can screw up the rhythm of it relatively easily. So let me go find some trash mobs, and I'll show you what this kind of looks like. So let's head over here and go shooting some stuff, and then I'll give you the build explanation as to why it works. This is just a very standard longbow ranger, and one of my absolute most enjoyable setups. Okay, what we got? So we're gonna tag our man here. See if we can get in range. Wait for it. Open with rapid fire, and then we're gonna weapon swap, auto attack, and then there's rapid fire back again. And then we rapid fire again. Now we got 2 seconds left because of quick draw, so we barrage, and then we rapid fire again. And then now we weapon swap, and then we can rapid fire again. And then quick draw gives it 2.5 seconds CD, so we barrage, knock him back into the barrage, and we can rapid fire again. And then we weapon swap, and we can rapid fire again. And you could just chain it infinitely. Yeah, I love this class. But yeah, so that is why I absolutely love this build. You can take down hordes and hordes of stuff, provided you kill things, because the kill will reset your rapid fire with the cooldown reduction on the Sigil of Frenzy. And then quick draw will make it so that when you swap weapons, you'll get that half second off. So let's go through the actual build, and I'll explain to you how I make this happen, basically, how this all works and operates under the hood to allow you to basically get infinite rapid fires. Now, this is an open world build because you can't really get that sort of setup in raids or anything like that. You can do it in fractals, for sure, if you have enough kills going off all the time, but this is primarily single target damage. So, the way this works, let me cover top to bottom here. We've got marksmanship. We're going to be going for Hunter's Gaze, which will gain might when you strike a foe based on their health percentage. Obviously, we want to kill things as much as possible, so we're just going to constantly have passive stacking might, and this will just trigger all the time because, of course, we have multi-shot. Unfortunately, it has an internal cooldown. Otherwise, we'd be at 25 might if that wasn't the case. Opening strike doesn't really matter. Opening strike inflicts cripple, which is kind of whatever. But your ranger skills will deal increased damage when they're far away from you, and the damage threshold is increased while you're above the specific range. Obviously, we're playing at max range with longbow autos and multi-shot, for example, and rapid fire and whatnot, so just passive bonus damage. Then we have Lead the Wind, which your first attack will give you quickness when you first hit somebody, and then your rapid fire will pierce, which is absolutely beautiful. You can line everything up, rapid fire through it all, and it'll pierce everything, kill everything. Also gives you permanent passive swiftness for when you're mobbing around the world, because every time your stuff goes off, you're going to get swiftness buff. Really nice. Then we go into skirmishing. We'll get swiftness on top of that when switching weapons, so we're going to always have perma swiftness. And then when you successfully evade an attack, gain vigor. You could go for sharpened edges, I guess. You could go for sharpened expertise. They're all just kind of ass. That's the only one that really works. Gain fury when swapping weapons, which gives us crit chance. And then just flat power. Now, you'll gain additional power while wielding a sword, and successfully evading an attack grants you additional might. You could also opt for spotter here, but you're going to get infinite fury with furious grip anyways, so it doesn't really matter. And then bleeding's more dangerous. It doesn't really matter, so the flat power is just a better option. The whole reason we're taking this entire line is just to get quick draw, which is when switching weapons, the next ranger weapon skill you use will recharge faster. Your next weapon skill will recharge 66% faster after weapon swapping, which, like I showed you there, allows you to get the rapid fire resets, because you want to use quick draw on rapid fire, which will then put it down to a 2.5 second cooldown, which the multi-shot will then reset because it gives you the recharge of other longbow skills. You can then also have the potential reset off the Frenzy Sigil, so then you can chain them, like I did there, to get the Frenzy Sigil proc into the multi-shot proc, into rapid fire, into Frenzy Sigil, into multi... Yeah, you saw what I did, right? That's how most of it operates. Then we go into Untamed here, and this is where things get really fun, and this is where we get our Unleashed Ambush, of course. And we're going to just amplify the Unleashed Ambush as much as we possibly can. So Blinding Outburst is going to make it so the Unleashed Ambush skills deal more damage. 25% flat to multi-shot, always good. And then they're going to also steal health. So just add in some healing there, because fuck you. That's why. Siphon healing will be reduced for each target struck beyond the first, but who cares? We're going to multi-shot 5 targets anyways and just get additional free healing and added flat damage, which that damage will allow us to burst things and trigger our Frenzy Sigil. All across the board. Big fan. Unleashed Ambush skills will also Boon Rip because, yeah. Oh, actually, because of that Boon Rips, I could make this even stupider. You could put a Relic of Norris instead. The one that makes it so, like, when you Boon Rip, you get, like, a stacking buff, and then when it goes off, you get flat damage, and then you get, like, life steal regen. Oh, I can make it even better. Oh, I should do that. I should definitely... I didn't realize that. Boon Rip. That's crazy. Because, yeah, you have to rip 10 boons, and then you'll have, like, a CD pop. That'd be so much fun for open worlding. I'm definitely going to add that. But then we have Vow of the Untamed, which your increased strike your strike damage is increased while you're unleashed, and you take reduced damage while your pet's unleashed. You never have to swap the unleash. You're literally sitting unleashed the whole time. You don't want to do anything with unleash swap, so you get to actually have full pet micro. This is why this is my favorite build, is it lets you actually play ranger as a ranger. You're like a marksmanship beast mastery hybrid, because the pet you have access to actually lets you have all of its abilities and have complete pet control and pet micro whilst staying unleashed and getting the maximum damage bonus humanly possible with both your bows. This is the most authentic archer that this entire game has. I love it. And then we have the piece de resistance, left loose. Unleashed ambush skills grant boons to nearby enemies or nearby allies. Refresh unleashed power when you swap weapons. This is the miracle worker here. This will reset your multi-shot when you swap weapons, which will give you your unleash. Oh, I swapped to my pet. Oh, I swapped back to myself to get my unleash. No, we don't do that here. We just have weapons instead, and it will give you unleash power when you swap weapons, as well as give you might and quickness. So you get might from this, you get might from this, you get might from the fact you, like, AoE multi-shot everything, and it triggers on whatever the other passive was in here. You know what I mean. But yeah, that is how we get it to operate. Everything else now, we use We Heal as 1 and Strength of the Pack, because Strength of the Pack will give you might whenever you attack. So, Strength of the Pack, for example, into Barrage, or Strength of the Pack into Rapid Fire. Then you dupe the boons onto your pet with We Heal as 1, and that allows you to duplicate all of your might for yourself and the pet, giving you an insane amount of extra might. So, for example, if I can go find something to attack here. If I pop my Strength of the Pack, There's 7, there's 9 might. Dupe it with the pet, there's 25. Like so. Because you're giving might to your pet every time you hit, and then using your strength of the pack will then duplicate the might that's actually on your pet. So your pet's going to have higher might percentage than you, but because you're using the boon dupe from We Heal As One, you'll then 25 might yourself automatically. Then after that, I have the 2 combo traps to make things even easier, which is the Frost Trap, which is the power damage based trap, coupled with Exploding Spores. You can just literally set and forget both of these when there's AoE, basically. You just barrage 1, 2, and everything dies. It is not rocket science. This will chill, which will slow as well, so you can kite with that. You can knock things through the traps with point-blank shot. And then Exploding Spores will also give you might for every single spore that goes off. If you get hit by all spores, you're knocked down. That's never happening. That's, I mean, I don't even know why they added that. It's just for Defiance Break, I guess. This also gives you some Defiance Bar on bosses, so your Defiance Bar is Exploding Spores and Point Blank. You can double rip Point Blank if you want to. Not the greatest use of your time, particularly. Charge me. Hold that. But yeah, and then after that, I have Signet of Renewal, which will just passively give you bonus HP regen, will grant you resistance and resolution, and your pet will pull conditions from nearby allies, or your pet will get resistance, resolution, and then pull all of the conditions off of you. So basically, if you're getting Condi bombed in the open world, you can just make your pet suffer instead, and then swap your pet if you need to. You can then also use a bear, for example.
Next.
I don't have him on right now, but I can run Waffles. And then I can use my Signet of Renewal to pull all the Condis to my pet, and then have him absorb them all, and Condi remove them himself with my pet micro. Or I could have him use Signet of Renewal to pull everything, and then use Defy Pain for 5 seconds to not give a shit. I mean, he does get resistance and resolution, but either way, I can extend that duration even further after the 3-second window, if I really want to. Gear set is Berserker Scholar. Relatively simple. All Berserker and the accessories and amulets and whatnot as well. I just have them on my other characters. And then I covered this before with Frenzy Rage. The Rage plus Lead the Wind will give you permanent uptime, because I was kind of having problems with the Lead the Wind timing. Sometimes it'll screw up and you'll just like trigger it all at the same time. But you also get quickness off of Let Loose, so if you don't have any quickness issues, feel free to swap out Rage to like Sigil of Fire, or I don't know, there's a bunch of other insane stuff you could add in here. That slot is kind of free. You can also just do 5% force if you're hard up. Or not hard up, if you just don't know what to choose particularly. And then, like I said, Bloodlust Frenzy, you're stacking this passively. You see I have 7 Bloodlust stacks just because of the fact that I was weapon swapping, which means my power goes even higher. And then Frenzy in both of them to have our enabling setup go off. And like I said, I'm running Thief right now, but you could run the Relic of Boon Devouring. I'll just go to the PvP lobby to show you, and then I'll end off, so you know what I'm talking about. And yeah, that is Longbow Untamed. One of my personal favorite builds, I think, to ever exist. Not my own self-craft, but my own self-adaptation. I got the idea from somebody else, but I think I've adapted it to the point that it is nice, very hilarious now. Go down to the relics. We'll have Relic of Norris. Gain Norris's Hunger every interval when you remove boons. Consume 10 stacks to grow larger, dealing increased damage, taking reduced damage, and converting a percentage of outgoing damage into healing. This is going to be better for later game maps where things do actually have boons. If you're doing early game maps, Relic of the Thief will probably just give you more reliable, all-around buff time. But yeah, that is my Ranger. I still absolutely love her. She is amazing. Thank you guys very much for listening. I shall see you in the next one. Take care.